Welcome to Free Your Mind, an experiential daily practice designed to dissolve past programming and expand your awareness of your true self beyond the matrix illusion of fear, lack, and separation. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, close your eyes and let go of all memory and anticipation. Bring your full awareness to the now, this holy instant. The purpose of this practice is to enable you to bring unconditional and unwavering peace with you into any and every circumstance, and to heal distress and turmoil. This is not done through avoidance or seeking a haven of isolation for yourself. You are here to discover that peace is an intrinsic part of you and requires only that you be there in full consciousness to embrace any situation in which you are. And as you practice, you will learn that there is no limit to where you are, so that your peace is everywhere as you are. Now take one more deep, slow, full breath in. And as you exhale, allow your body and your mind to relax. And let's begin. Holding grievances is an attack on God's plan for salvation. In other words, holding grievances blocks your ability to awaken from the dream. With your eyes remaining closed, repeat the idea and contemplate its meaning. Remember that the desire to hold a grievance or a grudge against anyone or anything is part of the ego thought system's plan to liberate you from the undesirable. The ego's plan basically states that to be free of suffering, find the source of your suffering outside of you and force it to change by any means you can. This is the foundational plan that we believe in whenever we hold any grievance, upset, judgment, or unforgiveness against anyone. Consider now, for a few moments, if this plan can really ever succeed at making you happy and bringing you the peace of mind that you desire. Do this now. The ego is the idea of separation. And being the idea of separation, it is in direct opposition to oneness. And thus the ego's fundamental wish the fundamental wish of the ego thought system, which is a non-sentient program, simply a habit pattern of thinking, feeling, and perceiving. The directive of this program is to replace God. In other words, to replace the awareness of oneness, which is total communication, total love, and complete understanding, with the awareness of separation, which is the breakdown of communication, love, and understanding. In this dream, it is the body that represents the idea of separation. Keeping your mind separate and alone and unable to reach other minds except through the body, which is made to separate it. So what does holding grievances have to do with the body? Grievances amplify body identity and thus expand the awareness of separation and seem to actually block you from the awareness of your true self. Consider for a moment the kinds of things which you are apt to hold grievances for. Are they not always associated with something a body does? Think about your past grievances. What was the trigger? What was the onset? Perhaps a person says something you do not like. He does something that displeases you. She betrays her hostile thoughts in her behavior. Look carefully here. We are not dealing with what the person is. On the contrary, we are exclusively concerned with what he or she does in a body. We are doing more than failing to help in freeing them from the body's limitations. We are actively trying to hold them to the body by confusing the body with the being and judging them as one. The body is part of the dream illusion. It is not who you are. It is not your true self. It is not what God created as you. And yet, every grievance that you hold insists that the body is real and constitutes your true identity. And thus a grievance overlooks entirely the true essence of every being. It reinforces your belief that the person you are upset with is a body and condemns him or her for what the body seems to have done. The inescapable outcome of identifying with the body is the belief in death. The moment that you mistake yourself or anyone else for the body, you must assume that you were created to die. Now, who is responsible for this death? The responsibility for this death sentence is always attributed to God. What kind of creator must God be if God created you only to die? And into this carefully prepared argument, into this show, the ego comes to save you. the ego says something to the effect of, God made you a body. Very well. Let us accept this and be glad. As a body, do not let yourself be deprived of what the body can give you. Take the little you can get. God gave you nothing. The body is your only savior. And this, in essence, is the universal belief of the world you see. Some hate the body and try to humiliate it and harm it. Others love the body and try to glorify and exalt it. But while the body stands at the center of your concept of yourself, you are actively blocking your own awakening and thus God's plan for salvation. In the subconscious recesses of your mind, you are holding grievances against God and God's creation, that you may not hear the voice of truth and welcome it as a friend, but rather see the infinite Creator as the one cause of your suffering, and thus block your awareness of oneness. How could you do otherwise? When you see yourself as a body, when you see death as real, and when you know that you did not create yourself, but this experience of suffering and death was somehow imposed on you. It is through this association that we blot out the awareness of God, fearing God and hating God for what wrongs have been done to us and what all we have been subjected to, being this body that we are. All of this is nothing more than a bad dream that has no real power to stop you from your awakening to your true self and knowing once again the glory that you have in God. Today, we will make an attempt at putting an end to these senseless attacks on salvation that are based on complete distortions of reality. And we will make an attempt to welcome reality, salvation, and the truth instead of attacking it. Our upside-down perception has been ruinous to our peace of mind. We have seen ourselves in a body and the truth outside us, locked away from our awareness by the body's limitations. Now we are going to try to see this differently. The light of truth is in us, where it was placed by God. It is the body that is outside and is not our concern. To be without a body is to be in our natural state. To recognize the light of truth in us is to recognize ourselves as we truly are. Seeing ourselves as separate from the body, we end the attack on God's plan for salvation and accept it instead. wherever it is accepted, it is already accomplished, because God's plans do not wait on time. In the remainder of today's practice period, our goal is to become aware that God's plan for salvation has already been accomplished in us. The reason why we can clearly know that God's plan for salvation has been accomplished already and always is because salvation from illusion is simply the awareness of our true and original self. The self that God created perfect, the self that God knows beyond our illusions of what we are, is the salvation, is freedom, and is happiness. There is no other source but that original self that is intrinsic to our own being. You cannot go anywhere to get it. You cannot do anything to earn it. It is already and always the fact. And God's plan for your realization of your ultimate freedom, the truth that makes you free, is simply that you let go of the grievances that you hold against the world, which make the world and the bodies and the conditions and everything that is temporal real and permanent in your mind. And you let this all go by forgiving it, by seeing beyond the illusion of separation to the essence in all beings, and that essence being oneness, that essence being love itself. So as long as we attack this plan by accepting grievances in its place and identifying ourselves and all of our brothers and sisters as bodies, we cannot understand what God's plan for us truly is. And so it is obvious that we are attacking what we do not understand or recognize. So now, we will no longer ask the ego thought system what salvation is and where to find it. Today, you ask of the truth. And be certain then that the answer will be true because of the source of which you ask. And now, try to lay all judgment aside and ask God what God's plan for you is. Infinite Creator, what is salvation? I do not know. Tell me that I may understand. And now wait in quiet for the answer. You have long used your grievances to close your eyes and stop your ears. But now we would see and hear and learn. Infinite Creator, what is salvation? Ask, and you will be answered. Seek, and you will find. Do this now. And if your mind wanders or stirs up distraction or turmoil, just repeat your question and your request, remembering that you are asking of the infinite creator of infinity, an eternal love that created you like itself. Infinite Creator, what is salvation? I do not know. Tell me that I may understand. God will answer. Be determined now to hear. As you approach the completion of this practice period, take a deep, slow, and full breath in, breathing all the way to the top, and hold it as you hold the intention to integrate this practice into your thought system. And as you exhale now, relax and release, and remember to bring this idea with you into the rest of your day. 1 or perhaps 2 shorter practice periods an hour are recommended today, since they will be somewhat longer than usual. During the shorter practice periods, say to yourself, holding grievances is an attack on God's plan for salvation and my own happiness. Let me accept God's plan instead. Infinite Creator, what is salvation? And then wait a minute or so in silence, preferably with your eyes closed, and listen for the answer. If you have benefited from this practice, please share your experience in the comment section below. Like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to continue the journey. May you be at peace and know your true self.